And welcome to the DNA show with the black and blue is running straight through our DNA, our veins. It's an all Carolina Panthers podcast. I'm your host, Anthony, with my main man, E-Bag, so as we used to call him. Um, the tribal chief, as I like to say. The real brains behind it all, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. DBJ, Mr. Donnie. And the DNA show was in Charlotte this past week. We were in the Queen City. I was sick all weekend, but still had a great time. and uh, we did a lot of things. We always like to go to Vintage. So anyone that's in Charlotte, you look up a Vintage Cigar Lounge. Uh, we had cigars and drinks, watched sports. Even spoke with the manager there. Had a good conversation with her about the history of the place. Used to be owned by the father of the legendary North Carolinian himself, Michael Jordan. So getting off topic here, and we always have a great time, and we get suited and booted as always, and to the point where everybody thought we were in the wedding. They thought we were in our own wedding. They thought we were getting married. They said, "Congratulations, fellas! It's not us. It's not us." But I'm not opposed either. No. But we had a great time in the Queen City. Although it was a great time from Friday to Sunday, unfortunately, around 1 o'clock, the fun started going downhill a little bit. It's always fun to be at Bank of America Stadium, but as you see the score there, took on the Los Angeles Chargers. And good news, bad news, the whole stadium was blue, but the whole stadium went the right shade of blue. And there's a lot of that light blue, almost a Carolina blue, but not a Panther blue. There's a difference. Um, so And 26-3 was the final score. And man, you get to worry when you see that kind of thing. And then sometimes the score doesn't do it justice. But we were there and we saw it in person. We told you we were going to be there in person. We told you we were going to evaluate in person in the end zone. Bryce Young historically had just a very bad game. Um, man, it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. So let's start with there. Let's start there, Donnie. First and foremost, had a great time with you in the Queen City, man. It's always a blast. Win or lose, hey, love being there and love getting to spend time together with two men, man. But it would also be nice if they would win before we left, so it would be a nice trip home. But so yeah, after seeing performance with the Chargers, man, I take the good with the bad, smile with the sad, love what you got, and remember what you had. And we used to have good times, but man, Sunday wasn't good. Um, start from there. Your thoughts on the performance of Bryce Young and the future of Bryce Young?
Well, number one, man, I thank you for the intro, sir. You're the wise man, so you are the brains. Always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure to go out to Charlotte with my brother. Got nothing but love, man, and admiration, you know, and always a pleasure. So, looking at the situation, you and I have been Carolina Panthers fans since it really existed. You a little
Yeah,
bit longer than I have because you're a little bit older than me, but it seems like the last few times we've been there, man, we've been outnumbered and outgunned
yeah,
by opposing um team's fans, and it's not good, man. And we hold Bryce Young in such a high regard, and I still do, regardless of this performance. Because I know what he can be. I know what we drafted him to be, and I know he's got it in him. But seeing how dull and how dark it was when the offense hit the field, man, it was 2.0 of last year, man. We played Monday Night Football, played on Monday Night Football last year when we went, and it was the same feeling, but actually worse this time. We saw Bryce startled. I saw him struggling to um, get his wits about him, and there was a few times you and I talked about where he was like kind of far away from the huddle. I don't know.
yes,
It was kind of weird. I feel like he had mentally checked out.
yeah,
But Nevertheless, man, I'm just disappointed because I know what he can be. I know what we drafted him to be, and he's got to get it right soon, man. The guys around him are playing a lot better. His peers are playing a lot better, and offensive line held up, y'all. Let's not create that narrative. The offensive line held up.
They did.
It look Offensive line looks bad even when they're playing bad. Or offensive line, if the quarterback play is bad and he's holding on to the ball, it's gonna make the offensive line look bad. How about
Right.
that? That's all I can spit out. But I'm just disappointed, man, because you want to see some progression in year two, and we're not seeing that. We're seeing regression. So
Yeah.
I'm a little worried, man.
Yeah. So in this situation, what do you do, man? Do we kind of look Andy's way, or do we keep going with Bryce? Or what do you do?
I mean, looking at the situation, I mean, you really want to put. We're very early in the season, man. We're literally 2 games. This is our second game. We're 2 games in the season. Um, you never want to write a season off this early. That's
Yeah.
what poverty franchises do.
Right.
You want to give your team the best opportunity to win, and if that's Andy Dalton, then I'm all for putting him in. Now, what the biggest concern is Bryce's confidence. Is Bryce gonna is his confidence gonna drastically change? I mean, I'm sure it's already low with the performances he's had, but you go to benching a guy in his second year, like is he gonna mentally check out?
Right.
Um, but at the end of the day, he's never really had that mentor like some of the other great quarterbacks, like the Aaron Rodgers of the world, like the Patrick Mahomes of the world. He's never really had to sit back. So sometimes sitting back is a blessing more than it is a curse.
Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, from what we saw, and I think we agree on this. We talked about it off of here. Uh, he definitely missed throws, no doubt about it. There were some missed throws that were completely on him. There was times where a receiver wasn't open, but he wasn't able to make the play himself, or um, so it wasn't like he missed a throw every play. You know, but then there was times where receivers weren't open and he had to throw it away or make a sack, whatever. And then there was times where he did get pressured, very little, very little.
Right.
But I mean that happens every game. Even when we got number one offensive line in the league, there's some pressure, there's a sack or two. So not every single play was his fault, but a majority. But in terms of importance, you know, number one was the quarterback has to make that throw, especially simple throws when time arrives. There was a rollout. He missed Dante coming across. There's out routes. There's overthrowing, underthrowing, throwing into double coverage, threw a pick, turned the ball over. One stat I saw, um, defense created a turnover. The very next drive were 3 plays, -2 yards. We created another turnover on defense. Next drive, 3 plays, 3 yards. So we're not taking advantage. We're not helping the defense out. Usually the defense helps the offense by why they don't score, but in this case, offense couldn't even score. We walked away with 3 points to their 26. And although Harbaugh, and you said it too, I give you flowers here. You said, "Hey, Jim Harbaugh's going to run that ball. That's what he does. He runs that ball." And now we'll switch over to the defense now. I think we all know how we feel about Bryce, but switch over to the defense. They're just you said it. Actually, you're right in the middle of the game. You say, "Man, there's just no disruptor up front. We gotta disrupt these running plays." Corners played well. JC, my man JC, walked off with a pick. Gave up that first touchdown. Very next drive, picked it off. Great. Then you were even. We're good. Um, Safeties were good. Corners were good. Mike Jackson. I've been meaning to mention his name. Great pickup by us. He's a fantastic CB2. Poor Hill, a great slot corner. So the corners are great, and it works for Evero's defense too. He's all about the coverage sack. That the coverage is so good that the defensive line had more time to get there. They're not even doing that. We can't get to him. We can't disrupt running plays. And even when Herbert dropped back, we couldn't get to him at all. So and Derek Brown presence is missed. That's for sure. So your thoughts on the defense, sir?
Well, I don't want to be too tough on the defense. Just because they're on the field double the amount of time that the
Right.
offense is. And I feel like those early turnovers put us in position to take advantage of, and we just failed drastically to do that. But Just looking at what we have on defense, man, I feel like there's still really, no reason why we're not getting after the quarterback. We don't. I'm really wanting to give a, I really want to give a big notice to Clowney. Like I love Clowney. He's one of my favorite players. He was always been one of my favorite non-Panther players. But we brought him
Mhm.
here to be disruptive, and he can be
Yeah.
that. And I'm sure at some point he's gonna find his rhythm. But he was paired up against the highly touted rookie Joe Alt, who last week actually shut down Max Crosby. So
Mhm.
I kept my eyes on Clowney a little bit. I was rocking his jersey, and
Right.
he was getting. I ain't gonna lie, he was getting chipped, and he was. I saw tight ends chip him, but we got to find a disruptor up front, which I'm giving my flowers to Ashawn Robinson. That's also one of my favorite free agent pickups we had this offseason. He was in there on some tackles, but we still need to somehow find a way to stop the run and get after the passer consistently. I
Yeah.
don't feel like we did that enough.
Yeah.
So, um, in all, this defense has what it takes to keep an offense in the game to win the game.
Right.
I'm not gonna say we're gonna be a top 15 defense, top 10 defense. I would like for that to be that. We can be that, but right now we're still not firing on all cylinders.
Yeah. I agree. And in order to be a very successful, you have to be fired on all cylinders. I agree with that. Um, so you're handed the keys to the kingdom, Donnie, and they say, "Hey, you're the new head coach. You get to decide what we do. What do you do with Bryce Young? Going into the next week against Oakland, excuse me, Los Angeles Raiders, formerly of Oakland.
Still
Uh,
do that too.
yeah, we're going into their territory. 4 o'clock game. Bryce, is he taking snaps, or is we're going to tell him to sit back and relax and learn a little?
It's tough. Going into week 3, man, he's just struggling. He can't get the ball up the field.
Yeah,
I think he's starting to panic. I wouldn't be opposed to having Andy Dalton come in to start the game
yep,
and really just take over this coming up game. Just take the starting role this coming up game. But I would limit Bryce's. I would limit his drives if he's playing bad. If he plays bad for like 3 or 4 drives, and it's time to yank him and let's get him behind Andy for a little bit. But going into week 3, looking at the situation, it wouldn't hurt putting Andy in there. I'd put Andy in there. I want Bryce to start just learning a little bit.
yeah,
Um, you see guys like Adam Thielen getting frustrated. You see there was a video going around after the game, Taylor Moton kind of being frustrated. Apparently, something had happened between Bryce Young and Taylor Moton.
mm,
Bryce needs a little bit more time to understand what's going on, and also, I mean, let him learn from Andy Dalton as well because we really didn't. He didn't play this preseason besides like one drive.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's something to factor in. Let him sit back a little bit. Let him start to learn. Don't hit the panic button. Just he's got to learn. I keep using that word learn, but he's got to see this from another perspective instead of just him doing it. Everyone needs guidance in his life. Sir,
yeah,
you were my big brother. You were my god brother, man. There's times where I wasn't going to where I feel like it's okay. That don't mean he sucks. That don't mean that he's
right,
bad. But might just need to sit down for a little bit. And to not to have a long-winded response, but I think the fans are starting to get a little upset. And I tell the fans, don't panic, but I do agree he might need to sit down for a while. Just let's get it together. Let's get it because he was getting booed and it broke my heart. Hate it for him, but
yeah, yeah,
give him some time. Give him some time to get back to the drawing board. Learn this offense. It's new offense. Again, another offensive coordinator, another new head coach. Just give him time. Let him sit behind the red rocket. And hopefully, Andy can give us a good chance. Andy didn't look bad last year when we played in Seattle either. I mean,
yeah,
now he did throw the ball like 50 times, but I mean, Andy took pretty good care of the ball, and I mean, he can get it there. So just best case scenario, put Andy in, and let's see how Bryce takes sitting behind Andy for a little bit and watching
yeah,
how he does.
yeah. Veteran to the game, he could offer something different, and there's not much film on him either. So teams wouldn't. One thing they can go off of is the last game that he played in against Seattle. So, and maybe Dave Canales has a little bit more trust there. He can throw the ball downfield a little more. We'll see. So, but that is if Andy Dalton takes the field. So, um, Last thing here, man. We'll close it up. Uh, Overall, man, what's the future look like? I know we're coming off of two bad games here, but things can turn around. We did it. Went on a 10-game win streak one year with it was a different regime, different quarterback, different everything. But anything can happen. It is the NFL. So um, we're in my opinion, yeah, it does. I mean, it's raining. It's raining out there, and when it rains, it pours. But the sun will come out tomorrow or Sunday, hopefully. So,
Right.
you're what are your thoughts, man, on uh, everything right now? You say don't hit the panic button. So you think we're okay come November?
Right now with the way things are trending, we're going on a downward spiral. It's a weird place to be as a
Yeah,
franchise. You've had 6 straight years of losing, and then the start of this seventh season under David Tepper, we're just going out further and further and further. But you don't want to panic because you're 2 weeks in. But adjustments are everything in football. We see in-game adjustments. We see mid-season adjustments. Like
yeah,
let's see what an adjustment with Andy Dalton will look like. Let's try a different direction. I do one thing I truly love um, about this current regime. I love Dave Canales' optimism. I don't see him freaking out. There's times where I get upset when offense is looking good, but I see him like clapping and encouraging, like, and that's something that we probably need because there's been so many dark days. So I don't want
yeah.
to write Mr. Canales off. I'm not calling for his head, obviously. Let's see what a change in this offense looks like with quarter at the quarterback position. Let's see if we can't get these fellas going and if executed, obviously if executed the right way, I mean we're turning the season around. Like I said, this defense is something that you can win games with. They'll get some turnovers. I feel like we're gonna get a few
Yeah.
more turnovers this year. So yeah, let's see how a change of quarterback looks, and then we can just go from there, man. This it's never you never want to count your team out too early. Shout out to you for bringing that up. 2013, we were 0-3. Ron Rivera was being called to be fired, and man, we turned it around
Yeah.
and won like 12 straight games. So it's doable, man. So let's be optimistic. I'm down for a switch, and the season can be salvaged. We're 2 weeks in.
Just like when we play 2K, it's not over till it's over, baby.
Yes, sir.
um, but I think I can kind of interpret what you're saying with two simple words. We're gonna keep pounding, all right? And that needs to be integrated right back into this whole franchise. So, and I think Dave Canales can lead us to the glory. So we'll see. And Tepper, you just go somewhere, sit down, eat a Bojangles sandwich or something.
We saw him today, and just the disgust.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. You pointed at him, and I'm like,
Yeah. Where is the nearest beer bottle? No, I'm just kidding. Uh, yeah, the hatred for that man. I hate, that's a strong word, but you,
just a lot of disdain and animosity. I mean, you
yeah,
can't take over a team and listen again, minus all the allegations and all the crazy stuff that happened with Mr. Jerry Richardson. Team was a wild card playoff football team, and then when you inherit it,
mhm,
is
right,
I mean, we came walking through bubblegum right now as a franchise.
right,
Like, you know,
exactly.
there's reason to worry. So, he needs to get it together, man. You see no, it's not a shot at Cowboys fans. I know Cowboys fans are gonna want to unload the clip on me, but you don't want to be like Jerry Jones. Seriously.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
team has been talented so many years and they haven't won things. So like trust the football guys. Let the football guys make the decisions.
yeah,
Got Dan Morgan, resume speaks for itself. Dave Canales is supposed to be this offensive genius. Let these guys do it. Let these guys do
yeah,
it. So stay
yeah.
away, Dave. Stay away, Mr. Tepper. Wait.
For sure. So next week, Raiders in Los Angeles. Los Angeles came to us. Now this time we're going to them. Different team though. So before we know it, of 32 teams, 20 of them will be in Los Angeles. Um,
Good
so,
Lord.
but we are Panthers through and through. No matter how many teams, it's us against the world, baby. We're going to keep pounding, no matter what. So, And hey, next week, better days are to come. I believe it. So, hey, thanks for joining us as always. Next week, we're gonna do it. It's the Raiders, Panthers, Raiders, and always tell them what to keep doing, baby.
Keep pounding.
Yes, sir.